Today, we're following one of the most intense chases we've seen this month. A gray SUV, reported stolen, is on the run, and the police aren't far behind. The driver wasted no time pushing the SUV to its limits, reaching speeds as high as 130 miles per hour. And yes, you heard that right, 130. This chase began in Los Angeles and stretched across 134 miles of highway, eventually ending in Kern County. That's a long way to go for a joyride. But this wasn't exactly a peaceful drive. As the SUV swerved in and out of lanes, I think it's safe to say this wasn't exactly courteous driving. More like how to give everyone on the road a heart attack in under 5 seconds. But make no mistake, this kind of reckless behavior is a major threat to everyone on the road. Swerving like that at such high speeds? There's barely any room for error. And just when it seemed this driver was invincible, they pushed the SUV to the edge, literally. Going around 120 miles per hour, the driver finally lost control, slamming into the road barrier in a loud, shattering impact. An abrupt and chaotic end to what was already a dangerously unpredictable pursuit. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured, and law enforcement was able to secure the scene. Hold on to your seats because this one is a wild ride. A suspected thief, believed to be involved in multiple car break-ins at a Target on FM 529 and Highway 6, decided he'd rather make a run for it than face the consequences. This chase unfolded in Houston, with the suspect weaving through main streets and even residential neighborhoods. This guy wasn't just trying to escape, he was taking us on a grand tour of his stomping grounds. At one point, the suspect's driving got so erratic that he actually lost the police chopper, but only for a moment. Turns out it's not easy to outrun a bird's-eye view. But in all seriousness, this chase put countless lives at risk as the suspect darted through densely populated neighborhoods, making every turn more dangerous than the last. For 40 minutes, he dodged police cars and tore down streets, leaving residents and officers on edge. Then, in a twist no one saw coming, the chase ended with a surprising destination. According to one of his neighbors, the suspect wound up right where he started, his own house. Not exactly the ideal hideout spot when the whole neighborhood just watched you lead police on a high-speed tour of your usual routes. While the ending may have caught everyone off guard, it was no laughing matter for those caught in the path of this risky ride. Fortunately, police were able to apprehend the suspect without any major injuries. But let's just say this is one neighborhood that won't forget this grand return anytime soon. Tonight, we're following a chase that's as reckless as they come. A drunk driver in a Mercedes decided he could outrun the police, and he certainly gave it his all. From the start, the driver had one thing on his mind: speed. At times, he pushed the Mercedes to well over 100 miles per hour, swerving through traffic and putting countless lives at risk. But what really upped the danger? At one point, he even crossed onto the wrong side of the road at these high speeds, creating a heart-stopping scene for oncoming drivers. I guess he thought he was invincible, or maybe just above the law. But as we all know, the law catches up, especially if you're zigzagging through traffic in a car that sticks out like a sore thumb. Despite the driver's best attempts to shake the officers, it became clear that his reckless maneuvers were only escalating the chase. And then came the shocking finale. With a dangerous turn and an unexpected move, the police officer ended up colliding with the Mercedes, bringing the entire pursuit to an abrupt end. Incredibly, the officer walked away with only minor injuries, something that could be called a miracle after a crash like that. Unfortunately for the suspect, his night ended quite differently, proving once again that high-speed chases don't have a glamorous finish. In this case, what started as a dangerous attempt to outrun the police ended with a sobering reminder: when you gamble with speed and recklessness, the odds are never in your favor. A high-stakes chase out of Avondale, Arizona, ended in Phoenix with a dramatic, and ultimately deadly, confrontation. The suspect, wanted in connection with a reported bank robbery, made a last attempt to escape as police closed in. This chase wasn't just a sprint through the streets. The suspect had a plan, or so it seemed. At one point, he was spotted tossing something out the window, apparently dropping off the goods with a friend in what he might have thought was a quick handoff on the go. It's almost as if he thought he could finish the job while outrunning police, but it's safe to say he overestimated his multitasking abilities. The chase barreled through Phoenix, with the suspect weaving dangerously through traffic, leaving officers no choice but to perform a precision maneuver to bring things to a halt. A perfectly executed pit maneuver sent the suspect's car spinning out, forcing the chase to a dramatic stop. But even after coming to a stop, the suspect didn't go quietly. Police were forced to take decisive action, resulting in a fatal end to this intense pursuit. This dangerous situation underscores the serious risks involved in such high-speed pursuits, especially when a suspect is desperate to evade capture. Though the chase ended in tragedy, law enforcement officers followed through on a high-stakes situation, working to protect the public as best they could. As for the goods tossed mid-chase, it's probably safe to say they didn't end up where the suspect intended. In Denver, Colorado, we witnessed a chase so chaotic it seemed like something out of a video game. But this was all too real, with terrifying stakes. It started with a carjacking, an SUV, and shockingly, there was already a passenger on board, a 4-year-old child, strapped into the back seat. This suspect didn't just stop at one car either. In a scene that felt like Grand Theft Auto come to life, he carjacked multiple vehicles, driving at high speeds and weaving through traffic with furious intensity. Each maneuver seemed more reckless than the last, pushing his luck as he plowed through streets and narrowly missed innocent drivers. They say driving gets harder with passengers, but it's safe to assume that this guy missed the memo on precious cargo. But jokes aside, this chase put countless lives at risk. In one of the most heart-stopping scenes, the suspect tore down highways and side streets, recklessly endangering everyone in his path. Miraculously, the 4-year-old was eventually recovered unharmed, as the suspect hopped from one car to another. Eventually, as his luck ran out, so did his control. The suspect finally crashed, bringing the chase to a chaotic end as police moved in and took him into custody. This story, thankfully, ended without serious injuries, but it's a stark reminder of the dangers out there. The suspect will be eligible for parole, at age 105. A fitting sentence for a chase that's sure to go down in Denver's history. And a reminder to everyone, lock your doors when you're on the road, because you never know who might try to turn your everyday drive into a scene straight out of an action movie.